Dangerous delivery.
I am just, like I said, in total shock.
A mother denied a trip to the hospital.
I just had my son a month early on a dirty jail cell floor.
And it's not the first time this jail has been accused of ignoring a medical emergency.
Everybody just looked at her like she was a piece of dirt. It's inhumane.
Jessica Preston was in the Macomb County Jail on a simple driving offense when she went into labor.
And told medical staff 3 times she was having her baby, but no one believed her. Local 4 defender Kevin Dietz live at the Macomb County Jail. Kevin, you have investigated 2 recent cases in which people with medical emergencies died behind bars.
That's right. It seems a pattern is emerging here at the Macomb County Jail. The hospital is just a stone throws away. You can almost see it from here, but some inmates are not being taken there when they are in serious medical emergencies. 2 inmates have already died behind bars, and now this local mother, pregnant, in jail on a suspended driving charge, is forced to have her baby behind bars. There's something special about a baby's first Christmas. The joy and wonderment of it all. Today, Elijah is happy and healthy. But 9 months ago, he suffered a traumatic injustice no baby should endure. This beautiful baby boy was born on a jail cell floor in filth because medical staff at the Macomb County Jail would not let Elijah's mother go to the hospital to give birth. Elijah's father missed the birth of his son.
I didn't get to cut the cord, I didn't get to hold him.
Because the jail refused to let Jessica go to the hospital. Elijah's father is angry.
How could this be happening? This is not the right time or the right place. It's a month early. Is he gonna be okay?
Jessica Preston was pulled over for driving on a suspended license, her first offense. At 8 months pregnant, the judge ordered her to pay $10,000 cash bond. She did not have the money, so she was locked up until her court date. 5 days later, Jessica went to the jail medical unit 3 separate times saying she was having her baby. They would not take her to the hospital. Elijah was born behind bars, his weight under 5 pounds, a dangerous delivery for baby and mother. Jessica's mom was terrified her daughter or grandson would die.
They didn't believe her. They just left her lay there. Everybody just looked at her like she was a piece of dirt.
Baby Elijah's paternal grandmother was looking forward to witnessing the birth, watching her son cut the cord. But no one would take the baby's mother to the hospital.
You can't do that to a human being. Can't. It's not right. It's inhumane. How's it going to affect them to grow up to be an adult, knowing that I was born on the floor of a jail cell and wrapped up in a dirty sheet?
The Macomb County Jail has been the focus of a 2-year defender investigation. On July 7, 2013, 37-year-old mother Jennifer Meyer dies in the Macomb County Jail. She was in for 30 days for failure to pay child support. Staff would not take her to the hospital. Cellmates tried to cool her fever with wet cloths and begged for medical attention. After 12 days, she died of sepsis. Jennifer's family is angry.
I could feel her dying, and there was nothing I could do.
11 months later, on June 27, 2014, David Stojewski dies inside the Macomb County Jail. He was there to serve a 30-day sentence for failing to appear in court on a traffic ticket for careless driving. He lost nearly 50 pounds in 17 days and died from withdrawal from doctor-prescribed medications. His last 10 days are on video. You can see what the jail and medical staff saw. A man twitching and seizing naked on his cell floor until his body was too weak to take another breath. David's family is angry.
Why you don't call 911 to help him? Why you let him die on the floor, cold, sweating, asking for help, and you guys don't care?
Behind on child support, a careless driving ticket, driving on a suspended license, 2 deaths, and a baby born behind bars. It would make anybody angry. Sheriff Tony Wickersham is in charge of the Macomb County Jail. He is not commenting today. After the Stojewski death went public, he did say privately hired medical staff makes the decisions. His deputies only followed their lead, and an investigation by the Justice Department found no criminal wrongdoing.
We have not identified any prosecutable violations of federal criminal law. Therefore, our investigation is closed.
Jessica Preston's first baby was born via an emergency C-section. For the mother's safety, Elijah was to be a C-section too. He was not. forced to be born vaginally, preterm, and under 5 pounds. The staff did not send her to the hospital, increasing the risk for mother and baby. And our investigation is just getting started. Tomorrow at 5 p.m., Dr. Frank McGeorge will weigh in on the medical staff's decision not to take Jessica to the hospital. Then at 11, we'll hear from Elijah's mother, Jessica Preston, as she walks us step by step through what she calls the most terrifying day of her life as she delivers her son behind bars here at the Macomb County Jail. It's a story that's not easy for her to tell. She's brave for doing it, and she says she's only sharing her story so that this never happens to anyone else again. Kevin Dietz, Defenders.
A lot of questions still to be answered. We'll keep asking them. All right, Kevin. This was the video revealed last night in a Defenders investigation. It is very jarring to watch.
Yeah, it shows a woman giving birth on the dirty floor of a cell inside the Macomb County Jail. Medical staff there refusing the mother's pleas to be taken to a hospital after going into labor.
Local 4 Defender Kevin Dietz continues his investigation with a look at just how dangerous this delivery was. Kevin?
That's right. 3 times Jessica Preston went to the medical unit saying she believed she was having her baby and needed to go to the hospital. Each time she was sent back to her jail cell. She never did make it to the hospital, and baby Elijah was born on the floor of her jail cell. Dr. Frank McGeorge here at Local 4 is an expert in custody jail cases. So we asked him what he thought of all this. Take a look.
Oh, I know it's a rough life.
Jessica Preston delivered her baby behind bars. On jail video, we see her 3 separate times go to the medical unit saying her baby was coming. Local 4 medical expert Dr. Frank McGeorge is a qualified court expert in jail custody medical cases. He examined the video.
When you have a woman that's 8 months pregnant with regular contractions who's sweating, there's red flags going up all over the place. You need to take them seriously.
The medical staff never called an ambulance, so baby Elijah was born on a dirty mat on a jail cell floor.
Having a baby in a dirty, nasty place is just not a good thing because it opens the risk to infections, whether it's the baby or whether it's the mother.
Elijah was born a month early, weighing less than 5 pounds.
When a baby is born very small, there's always the risk that there could be some difficulty breathing. Maybe the baby has some kind of a congenital problem and that's why they're small. We don't know.
McGeorge says if the mother were taken to the hospital, the birth could have been slowed down or even stopped.
Having a baby in a jail, I think, is just scary to any woman. And that just doesn't make sense because there's really no reason for it to have happened that way.
Tonight at 11, a heartbreaking exclusive interview with the mother, Jessica Preston. She says that this was the most terrifying day of her life, and she walks us through it moment by moment. That's tonight at 11, only on Local 4. Kevin Dietz, Defenders. Jessica Preston calls it the most terrifying day of her life. It is a very personal story that is very difficult to tell. She's telling it tonight so that no one ever has to go through what she went through again.
There you go.
Jessica Preston adores her baby boy.
And tomatoes and strawberries.
She had been keeping the details of Elijah's birth a secret out of embarrassment, but she cannot anymore.
I wouldn't want that happening to my worst enemy. That is why I am telling the story.
Elijah was born on a dirty floor mat on the floor of a Macomb County jail cell. A dangerous delivery that never would have happened if only jail medical staff would have let her go to the hospital. The birth is on video, and Jessica Preston is walking you through it. A bold decision to bring attention to what she calls a lack of human dignity at the Macomb County Jail.
When I started laying on the floor, I said, please don't let me have this baby in here. I said, please just call an ambulance. I pushed him out right on the floor. Ultimately, I mean, I was just at this point in complete shock. I could not believe that it had just happened that way. So I'm at this point still just terribly concerned and just wanting to get to the hospital to make sure that I can be physically checked by a real doctor. You would know that I'm okay. I could hear him crying. You know, he was small. He was under 5 pounds, 17 inches long.
The story begins a few days earlier in the city of Warren. Jessica is pulled over because she has a rosary hanging from a rearview mirror. The officer says the cross and beads are an obstruction of view.
I wasn't speeding. I wasn't driving recklessly.
But Jessica is driving on a suspended license. At 8 months pregnant, she is arrested and sent to see a judge.
She gave me a very high bond, even though it was my first driving on a suspended. She gave me a very high bond.
Pay a $10,000 cash bond or sit in jail for 14 days when her hearing is scheduled. On her 5th day in jail, the baby is coming.
About 7:30, you press a little button and it buzzes their tower, and I told the deputies, I said, I'm the one that's, 8 months pregnant in here, and I think I'm in labor, and I need, to go down to medical.
On camera, we see Jessica walk into medical, where she sees a nurse. There is no audio with this video. Jessica tells me they do not believe her.
We don't believe you. We think you're lying.
On camera, we see Jessica leave medical, back to the D block. She says there, other inmates were worried about her.
One of them got a cool washcloth on my forehead, was dabbing my forehead.
She says around 11:30, she hits the buzzer again. Again, we see her on camera walking to medical. There's no audio, only video.
And I was called a liar and told to knock my crap off or that they could put another charge on me.
Again, Jessica returns to her cell, but 90 minutes later, she will be back. Blood is running down her leg, so the deputy has her pack up and has her carry her belongings to a new cell adjacent to medical. We see Jessica lay down, but not for long. Soon, she yells for help. When the nurse arrives, the baby is already crowning. It's too late for an ambulance. Her son Elijah will be born right here on the jail floor.
It's beautiful and amazing and wouldn't trade him for the world, but it is a constant reminder. Every time I see him, I can remember how awful it was to feel that way, to be, treated like you don't matter, don't exist.
3 separate times Jessica asked for help, said her baby was coming. No one believed her.
I should have gone first thing in the morning, but when I come to you bleeding, 8 months pregnant and bleeding, you go to the hospital.
And Jessica's story does not end there. After she was checked out at the hospital, she was ordered by a judge to go back to jail and finish serving her 14-day sentence. Baby Elijah went home with Dad. Our investigation continues tomorrow, starting at 5 p.m. on Local 4. Kevin Dietz, Defenders.
A local mother forced to give birth on the dirty floor of a jail cell. Then, after a short hospital stay, sent back to prison.
The decision to separate her from her newborn, certainly not an easy one for the judge who made it, much like the decision by a different judge to jail a woman who was 8 months pregnant.
Local 4 Defender Kevin Dietz continues his investigation with a look at both of those decisions. Kevin?
That's right. This story has now gone national. In fact, it's gone international. And so many people are asking, why was this woman who's 8 months pregnant in jail in the first place? And now, why did she have to go back to jail after giving birth? The judges have their answers. Jessica Preston was pulled over for having a rosary hanging from her rearview mirror. She was also driving on a suspended license, taken away for failing to pay a speeding ticket. So why did Judge Suzanne Fonts give her a $10,000 bond and send her to jail for 14 days? The judge cannot comment, but the court administrator tells us the judge looks not only at the current charge, but all previous court history. In the past, Preston has a record of drug abuse and outstanding warrants for failing to appear in court. The administrator telling us the judge felt it was in the baby's and mother's best interest to be locked up and never imagined Prescott would not be taken to the hospital if she went into labor behind bars.
They still didn't want to call an ambulance, even though I was bleeding at the time. I am just, like I said, in total shock. I can't believe that, I just had my son a month early on a dirty jail cell floor.
Baby Elijah was born on a mat on a cell floor inside the Macomb County Jail, a month early and weighing less than 5 pounds. He was supposed to be delivered by C-section. Only after the birth did mom and baby go to the hospital. 2.5 days later, baby Elijah went home with Dad. Jessica went back to jail to finish her 14-day sentence.
It was horrible being separated from my baby. I wasn't able to breastfeed, and he was so tiny. He was so little when he was first born. It was agonizing.
That decision was made by Judge Matthew Sabaugh, who had no comment on his ruling, but did have access to Jessica's entire court file. Jessica says no matter the reason for incarceration, every inmate deserves to be treated in a medical emergency.
They lack any sort of human decency. I mean, someone just needs to be able to take responsibility and at some point say, okay, enough is enough.
And after all of this, Jessica Preston finally had her day in court for driving on a suspended license. The judge looked at her and said, "Time served. You're free to go home." Kevin Dietz, Defenders.
Now, Kevin, I understand you had a phone conversation with Sheriff Wickersham today. He hadn't said anything up until this point. What did he have to say today?
Yes, I did have a chance to talk to him briefly, and we have set up a meeting for tomorrow. We're going to have an on-camera interview at 1 o'clock tomorrow, and we will share that with you. He wants to give more perspective to what happened and why the decisions were made that were made as to why Jessica Preston had to have that baby inside the jail instead of at the hospital.
Sheriff Tony Wickersham standing by his staff in the face of troubling video brought to light by the Local 4 Defenders this week.
It's the latest in a string of medical incidents involving jail inmates asking for medical help but not getting it. Jennifer Myers died when a virus turned into sepsis. That was July of 2013 during a 30-day sentence for failure to pay child support. Skip ahead June 2014. It's David Stievsky. Died at the end of a brutal 17-day drug withdrawal. His sentence also, that was 30 days, and that was for failure to pay traffic tickets. And most recently, Jessica Preston, the mom sent to jail while 8 months pregnant, forced to give birth inside her cell. Local 4 Defender Kevin Dietz sitting down today with Sheriff Wickersham. Is he troubled by the video that you've been showing us, Kevin?
The sheriff looked at the video and he says he has no problem. He's 100% standing by his staff. The sheriff says Macomb County has a budget and it does not allow for a doctor to work on Sundays in the jail. Baby Elijah was born on a Sunday, so his mother saw a nurse 3 times over a 7-hour span that day, and each time the nurse said the baby isn't coming. But of course we all know that baby did come. It was born on the floor of the jail cell. Tonight, Tony Wickersham defends his staff.
2 LPNs were working that day. They were assessing her. They were on the phone with the doctor, monitoring contractions. And information is that at that time the baby started to come. They took her off of the cot, which is close to the wall, put her on a floor, on a mattress, and the baby was delivered.
But we both know that she was there in the morning around 7. She was there again at 11:30. She was there again at 1, this time with blood on her leg. And still, the baby wasn't born until 2:45. The hospital's what, 2 minutes away, 3 minutes away?
About 3 minutes away. Though I don't have the medical records. I know the mother has the medical records. I think that, in all fairness, maybe those medical records should be brought out and let the people see what the medical staff did each time she was brought down. Could we have more medical staff? Could we have a full-time doctor on staff 24 hours a day? Obviously, that's going to cost taxpayers more money to increase that type of contract.
Have you requested those things?
No.
Why?
Why? We put it out to contract. We had one bid. This is the company. It's within our budget. We would have to look at that at the next time up.
The sheriff says there are 1,200 inmates inside the Macomb County Jail on any given day, and there are very, very few problems. He is not going to second guess his medical staff over a baby being born behind bars. Kevin Dietz, Defenders.
Well, Kevin, though, if we move beyond this most recent event and then include the 2 deaths that I mentioned earlier that you've reported on, are we going to see any changes in policy at the jail?
Yes, our investigations are getting results. We are already seeing more inmates being taken to the hospital during medical emergencies than ever before. In addition, as a result of our stories, the county has commissioned a study to look at better ways to take care of mentally ill and drug-addicted inmates. The results of that study will be presented in April, and it's expected that it will make conditions at the jail safer for those who work there and those who are housed there.
Yeah. All right, Kevin.